Good morning, students. So in our last class, we have learned how to construct a DC machine and the different parts you have seen, like the yoke, the commutator, the armature, the pole shoes, the brushes, the functions and everything. So in this class, we'll study the principle of operation of these machines. So how by using this setup, the setup of this North Pole and South Pole, the magnet, then the armature, the rotator and stator. So by using all this setup, how we are getting an EMF, how a voltage we are getting. So in a generator, we will be getting a voltage and that means an electrical output. So it will be the voltage and current can be represented by using voltage and current, the generated output. And for a motor, we will be getting a mechanical output. So mechanical output, we can represent it by using torque or omega, the rotating frequency, angular frequency omega, and the torque T. So when we derive the EMF equation, you will get the answer. You'll get the answer. You'll understand what these terms are in detail. So coming into the chapter, which is the principle of operation of DC machines. Let me go to the next line. So considering the working of a DC machine, there are two important laws or rules that we should know to understand the movement of these conductors. One is the Fleming right-hand rule we use in case of a generator. Please see from the figure how the right hand is kept. So the thumb, the forefinger, and the middle finger should be kept in three mutually perpendicular directions. So the angle between all these three fingers should be 90 degree. Please try doing that with your finger. I hope you are doing that. So it will be they will be 90 degree mutually perpendicular, and in case of a motor we should use Fleming's left hand rule. The same setup should be done by using the left hand, and for a generator the output, we are giving the mechanical input and we're getting electrical output, and for motor the opposite. So when we keep all these fingers in a mutually perpendicular direction, in that the thumb, it shows the motion or speed of torque, that is the motion of the conductor, and forefinger, it shows the flux direction, that is the movement of the direction of the magnetic field, and the middle finger, it shows the direction of the current or the electricity or EMF, the generated voltage we can say. Okay, and in case of motor, we are using left-hand rule, and in case of generator, we are using the right-hand rule. So to explain it like that, we should understand that when we are using the left-hand rule for finding the direction of rotation of the motor, the input current which we are giving, it shows that it is denoted by the middle finger, then the magnetic field, that flux direction, that will always from North Pole to South Pole. It should be shown by the field, and the movement of the conductor will be shown by the thumb, the direction of the thumb. And similarly, in case of the opposite effect will be happening in case of a generator. That is the Fleming's right-hand rule. Okay, I hope you understand this portion. And let me go to the next slide. By the time, just read these portions. This picture actually explains the working of a DC generator. You might understand from the waveform given here, like I have shown you both an AC as well as a DC waveform. Okay. In this figure, I will just explain to you the parts first initially. So the magnets are there, the field magnets which has North Pole and South Pole. And ABCD, it denotes the conductor, and you can see the direction of the current from North Pole to South Pole. The direction of the magnetic field, not the current. And you have the brushes B1 and B2. And in the next case, it's showing the CD has come to the other side. That means this is the case when the figure here shows how we are obtaining a DC voltage from a DC generator. It shows how we are initially what we get is an AC voltage which has a frequency of P and just given by P n by 120. P is the number of poles and n is the speed of the conductor, and we'll divide it by 120 and we'll get the frequency. And the next what we get is in the final output will be DC only. Initially we get DC, AC. So we have the parts, North Pole and South Pole is there. Then we have the conductor, A, B, C, D is there. And we have the brushes, B1 and B2. Now just listen carefully. With the slip rings, the brush B1 is always in contact with the conductor AB. Just see the figure. The brush B1 is always in contact with the conductor AB, whether it may exist under the North Pole or South Pole. When conductor AB exists under the North Pole, an EMF induced as into, while under South Pole it is dot. So into means it is going into the conductor. That is the direction of the thumb should be into. And in case of dot, the direction of the thumb should be coming outside. You can try with your finger. Okay. Because it's a generator, it should be Fleming's right hand rule. Okay. And when the conductor AB exists under the North Pole, an EMF is induced, while and also under the South Pole, an EMF is induced. But in both these cases, they will have different directions. It's not unidirection. You see from the figure, from A to B, initially what the voltage induced is positive, and from B to A, the voltage or current, whatever it is, induced is negative. That's how we get a sinusoidal waveform. So to avoid that, because what we need a direct current, we don't need an alternating one, because this is a DC generator. So in order to get a DC generator, we use what we call the split ring, or what we call it commutator. With the split ring, listen carefully, with the split ring, the brush B1 is always in contact with the conductor which exists under the North Pole. Brush B2 is always in contact with the conductor which exists under the South Pole. The other case, it was changing. The polarity was changing. One was in the North Pole and then it came to the South Pole, right? But here, they'll always be in the North Pole and South Pole. Since the induced EMF under the North Pole is always into, and under the South Pole is always coming outside, it is not by dot, the brush polarities remains the same and the load current is unidirectional. Here the brush polarities remains the same. The other case, the brush polarities was alternating, and that's why the output that we got getting was alternating. So here the brush polarities remain the same and the load current is unidirectional with unipolar voltage. That is DC voltage across the brushes. So I think you got a rough idea. If you are hearing it for the first time, I think you just got a rough idea. How? So you should understand, in case of a DC generator, the initial output or the initial voltage that we are generating is AC only. Then we use the commutator or the split ring setup to get the DC, which makes it unidirectional. So just like a simply remembering, I will say slip ring and brushes will give you AC, and split ring and brushes will give you DC. That's what you should understand from here, and how we are getting AC and DC, because the polarity is changing and AB is come after one rotation, AB will come to the South Pole, so the direction is changing and everything, right? Okay. Now and your doubts I will clear when I take the class live. This is just to give you an initial idea. Let me go to the next slide. Now coming to a DC motor, from the figure we can see two different diagrams. That is one with the slip ring and one with the split ring. So you know, if it is only a slip ring, it will be AC, and with the split ring it is DC. So from the figure, the current direction is from the first figure with the slip ring, the current direction is from A to B and from C to D. Therefore, the electromagnetic torque, that is motor, the output is torque, is in anti-clockwise direction. After half rotation, CD comes under North Pole and AB is under South Pole. You can understand from the figure. Here the polarity B1 is positive and B2 is negative. That is, the polarity of B1 is positive, that is brushes, B1 is positive and B2 is negative. Hence the current direction is from A to B under the South Pole and C to D under the North Pole. That means after half the rotation. That is not shown in the figure. The first time before the rotation, the current it was opposite. Okay. Therefore, the electromagnetic torque is in clockwise direction. Initially, the electromagnetic torque, that is the rotation, was anti-clockwise, but after one half rotation, the electromagnetic torque has become in clockwise direction. So, for one complete rotation, the average torque is 0. Therefore, for DC supply by using slip rings, the motor doesn't rotate, because the average torque is becoming 0. With the slip rings, the brush B1 is always in contact with the conductor AB and brush B2 is in contact with conductor CD. The current in conductor AB is always cross, whether it exists under the North Pole or the South Pole. That is in case of a slip ring. Therefore, the average torque is 0. We're not getting the mechanical output. Because for getting the mechanical output, we need a unidirectional torque. For the production of unidirectional torque, the current must be cross under the North Pole and dot under the South Pole. From the previous slide, I have explained to you this. That is, the direction of current should be reversed for every half rotation, means the current should be AC in the armature conductor. Because for every half rotation, the direction of the current will be reversed. Is getting reversed, so the current in the armature is AC. This can be implemented by replacing the slip rings with the split ring. The ring will be splitted, or the split ring or the commutator segments. So, with the split ring, what is happening? I will explain to you now. From the figure, the current direction is from A to B and from C to D. Therefore, electromagnetic torque is in anti-clockwise direction. After half rotation, just listen, it is just a slight change from what we're using slip ring. When you're using split ring, after half rotation, CD comes under North Pole and AB is under South Pole. Now the direction of current is from B to A under South Pole and D to C under North Pole. Therefore, electromagnetic torque is in anti-clockwise direction. So we got a unidirectional torque. Even after half a rotation, with the use of a split ring, the electromagnetic torque movement is anti-clockwise only. Hence, the torque is a unidirectional torque. Now we will get the desired movement, right? There is no, the average is not becoming 0. Now, the commutator converts DC in the supply terminal to the AC in the armature conductors. Therefore, the commutator actually behaves as mechanical rotating inverter, and the frequency is given by Pn by 120. I'll just explain to you once again. With the commutator segment, the brush B1 is always in contact with the conductor which exists under the North Pole, and brush B2 is always in contact with the conductor which exists under the South Pole. Even after rotating, the brush B1 has positive polarity. It maintains cross. Cross means inside. So near the North Pole, it will be cross. And similarly, brush B2, it maintains dot in the conductor, that is under the South Pole. Therefore, the supply, and there will be a unidirectional torque. So I think you might have understood the basic working of a DC generator and a DC motor. DC generator and a DC motor. So slip ring and brushes means it will be AC, and split ring and generator means it will be DC. Okay, and similarly in case of a DC motor, you should use the split ring. And I will give you the notes regarding this, no problem. And let me go to the next slide. This is just a basic figure. I have just given you a beautiful figure because that was the black and white one. This is just it gives you a good understanding. North pole and south pole, it is rotating, and see the direction of the current. It is getting reversed when it is when it is near the north pole. The direction is in one direction, and when it is near the south pole, the direction is getting reversed. So we will have a unidirectional torque developed, and that torque will be DC, and that output we will get. And you can see the commutator segment, which is the split ring, the split in between them, and the brushes, everything. Supply we are giving. Okay. Okay. Now let me go to the next slide. Yeah. So today with this session we will wind up. So today's summary will be like yesterday we constructed the DC machine, and today we understood how we are developing the torque inside that. How we are developing the torque as well as we are generating the voltage. Motoring and generating action, and the Fleming's left hand and right hand rule, and the action, and these diagrams you should be very much aware about. Okay.